Have you ever wondered why we have the public school system we use today? It wasn't always like this. For most of history, schools didn't exist. Kids learned everything from their parents and the people around them. This learning was about survival. When they grew up, they did the same work their parents did and used the skills they learned to live. Then, when they had kids, they taught them the same skills. This cycle continued for generations. Sometimes there were schools, but they were rare. For example, in ancient Greece, philosophers like Socrates and Plato taught in schools. But these schools were only for a small group of rich boys. Most people learned from their families and communities, focusing on survival skills. By 1900, public schools were everywhere. These government schools made all children attend. Kids learned subjects that often didn't relate to their future jobs or daily lives. In these schools, children of the same age were grouped together and learned the same things, studying with the same classmates year after year. The modern school system started in Prussia, now part of Germany. Prussia set up schools to create disciplined soldiers and loyal citizens. This is called the Prussian model. In these schools, kids learned reading, writing, and math, but not things like investing money, taxes, or personal finance. This was intentional. The system aimed to teach students to follow rules and fit into society, not to think independently or manage money. An American named Horace Mann saw the Prussian public school system and is now known as the father of American schooling. After seeing the Prussian model, he returned to America and promoted its ideas. He convinced many important people, including John D. Rockefeller, that the U.S. needed this system. Mann and his supporters succeeded, and states started setting up compulsory schools for the first time. Before this, schools were private and funded by donations. By the 1900s, nearly every state had state-run compulsory schools. The General Education Board was set up in 1903 to support this new system. Although the U.S. model was based on the Prussian system, the goals were different. In Prussia, the goal was to produce soldiers, while in the U.S. it was to produce workers. Even today, Americans are taught to go to school, get good grades, and get a good job. The education system was designed to create a nation of workers who would work from graduation until retirement, making corporations rich. By around 1910, America was filled with workers trained to be employees, not business owners. They were taught to obey orders throughout their schooling. Corporations and the government benefited from this system. In 1913, the 16th Amendment was passed. This law allowed Congress to collect income tax from people. This happened just as the country was becoming full of employees, making sure the government could take part of their earnings. The U.S. public school system was designed to create lifelong workers. Corporations and the government worked together to train students to be obedient employees. These employees would help their employers make money and also pay taxes. Today, the best students often become top employees, not business owners or inventors. Getting good grades usually means following rules, paying attention in class, respecting authority, and doing what you're told. These are skills that are good for employees, but not always for people who want to start their own businesses. In school, we learn about things like the periodic table, times tables, and Shakespearean stories. But we often don't learn about managing money. John D. Rockefeller, who is thought to be the richest American ever, said he preferred a nation of workers rather than thinkers. This means he wanted more workers to hire, not smart entrepreneurs who could compete with him. This idea influenced the current education system in America and around the world. Schools train students to sit quietly, follow orders, and do the same tasks over and over for hours. From kindergarten through college, the main goal is to make students better employees. Before the 16th Amendment, the government did not have a steady income from taxes. But after the amendment passed, the government could take a portion of the money people earned. This was very convenient, because at the same time, more and more people were getting jobs as employees. The school system played a big part in this change. It was set up to make sure students would grow up to be good workers who follow the rules and work for companies. The best students, who follow all the rules and get the highest grades, often end up in the best jobs. They become top employees because they have learned to do what they are told and to pay attention in class. However, these skills are not always the same ones needed to start a business or to invent something new. In school, we spend a lot of time learning facts and stories, like the periodic table of elements or Shakespearean plays, but we rarely learn how to handle money, invest, or pay taxes. John D. Rockefeller wanted a country full of workers because workers would help him make more money. He didn't want too many thinkers who might start their own businesses and compete with him. This idea helped shape the way schools are today. They are designed to prepare students to be good employees. From a young age, students are taught to sit quietly, listen to the teacher, and do the same work over and over again. This continues all the way through college. The main focus of education is to make students good at following orders and working for others, not necessarily to think independently or start their own businesses. The system teaches students to collect and repeat information, which is important for many jobs. Even students who drop out or get poor grades often end up as employees, though they might not excel. Interestingly, students with average grades, like C's, are often smart, but don't focus on getting the highest grades. These students frequently become entrepreneurs, CEOs, musicians, and creative individuals. They are rebellious enough to resist becoming typical employees and instead forge their own paths. I strongly criticize the public schooling system because it often doesn't support creativity, independence, and entrepreneurial spirit. Instead, it mainly teaches students to be good employees, fitting them into a mold that doesn't suit everyone or help them reach their full potential. Now, let's talk about why important topics like money aren't often taught in schools. Understanding money is crucial because it can offer freedom. While money doesn't solve every problem, it helps with financial issues. Many people are stuck in jobs because of money problems. If you understand how money works, you can avoid being trapped in a job for decades. Learning about money helped me escape the rat race, and it can help you too. The truth is, if you understand finance, accounting, investing, and taxes, you won't spend your whole life as an employee. That's why these topics aren't taught in schools. They go against the main goal of public education, which is to create a nation of workers. If students learn the tools they need for financial freedom, they might escape the cycle of working for someone else. Instead of producing lifelong workers, schools could create people like me who work for a while, maybe 3 to 5 years, sometimes part-time, before finding a way to break free. I'm sharing this because understanding money and financial skills can help people avoid traditional jobs. Instead of sending my 7- and 5-year-old kids to school, we're homeschooling. It's not for everyone, but it works for us. Kids spend only about 35 minutes a day with their parents. The rest is with others or doing activities. This means media and schools influence them the most. I want to raise my kids myself, though I know homeschooling is a big responsibility. Schools teach important subjects like reading, writing, math, and science, which help kids think. But they can also expose them to negative things and controversial topics. More importantly, schools often don't teach essential life skills such as business skills, self-sufficiency, investing, taxes, real political history, problem-solving, communication, and sales. While I'm homeschooling my kids, I know that's not an option for everyone. You should work on it. Frederick Gates, John D. Rockefeller's advisor, once said, "We have limitless resources, and the people yield to our molding hand. We will not make them into philosophers or men of learning. Our task is simple: to train these people as we find them." Does this make you question the education system? Take charge of your financial education. Challenge the norm and seek the knowledge not provided to you. Your financial future is in your hands. I hope you find value in this message. Subscribe and watch our videos every day to keep growing. Thank you for watching till the end. Take care.